Okay, we're live.
Woohoo!
Hi there, everyone, and welcome to episode 23 of Knitting Around LA. I'm Judy.
I'm Julie.
I'm Una.
And we have a fabulous guest to introduce you today, Una Walker. And she's coming to us not from LA, but all the way from Oregon. The wonders of the internet.
Thank you.
Well, welcome, Una. We're so pleased. We're thrilled to have you as our guest. And we've had the pleasure of meeting Una, taking workshops, classes with her at Stitches events. That's how I've gotten to know Una. Julie, did you know Una previously from Stitches?
Well, like half of our guests from a group called Designing Weavers, which we had Brescia on as a guest. And Brescia told us that, unfortunately, Designing Weavers is disbanding. But that's where I knew Una from. And, yeah, we were both part of the Southern California Fiber Arts Network where, really basically everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a really close community. And that's spectacular. That's really wonderful. Well, Una, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Because I could certainly use an intro.
Sure. I am a punch needle artist. I am currently in Oregon, where it is snowing lightly. It's very pretty outside.
We're in Oregon. I'm sorry to interrupt. Where in Oregon are you?
I'm in Eastern Oregon in a town called La Grande. It is the home of Eastern Oregon University. It's a small town, 25,000 people, something like that.
Nice.
But it has a hospital. It's a big ag community. It has an art center, farmers market.
Cool.
It's got some nice amenities that we really love.
Now, isn't there like a huge desert in Eastern Oregon, or are you?
There is. That's we are technically high desert, but if you go farther east towards Boise area, that's where you'll really get into some high desert. La Grande is actually the largest enclosed valley in the United States.
Wow.
We're surrounded by mountains. We have 3 major mountains, and all the ag communities sort of sit, in that area. It's really amazing.
God, it sounds great. Yeah. Sounds great. Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. I started punch needling, I guess you call it, probably about, 13 years ago or so. I met a woman at a show who was doing a make it, take it demo. Imagine that. And I had just happened to have inherited 500 pounds of yarn from my mother. I grew up in a mom and pop craft supply store in Connecticut. And when they closed the store to go into hydroponic gardening, it's a long story. My mother, being German and an avid knitter, kept all of the good yarn for herself. So when she passed,
as you do,
right? Yeah. When she passed, I literally palletized 500 pounds of yarn and had it shipped to California because we had just moved to California. Ask me how much of that I still have.
Okay.
It's a secret. I've moved it a couple times.
Hey, no shame.
Right?
All of us, our entire audience.
We all understand.
We all relate, right?
This is a fiber art audience.
Yeah. We relate.
Yeah.
We
At the
relate.
time, I was
Yes.
also playing around with a lot of felt making. I was
Mm.
part of the New England felt making group and learning how to do flat felt with fiber and doing a little bit of knitting. But then I met her and it was like light bulb. And
Mm.
so in 2014, I was certified by Amy Oxford, who it's her needles that primarily everyone uses, the Oxford needle. So
Oh.
I got certified by Amy to become a certified teacher. And then 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was part of her pilot program. I'm one of 8 advanced certified instructors in the world because we have
Oh.
one in Germany. So that basically means I can teach you how to become a certified teacher.
Oh. Now,
So
I've seen that designation. I don't remember where. Probably on
a hashtag, yeah.
a work or a workshop. Somebody in what somebody's workshop bio saying that they're a certified punch needle teacher, but I didn't know if that was how significant that designation was.
Yeah, Amy's been doing it for, I think she started in around 2012 or 10, something like that. And if you're out there and you're looking for an instructor, you can go to Amy Oxford's website, amyoxford.com, and she has them listed by state.
Oh.
So if you're not near me or in LA, where there are a couple other certified instructors, you can find somebody.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, Una,
Yeah.
Una, so if someone in the audience wants to learn to do punch needle, and now with the COVID, do you teach online? Is there like either through Stitches at home, or do you have online workshops? Is there something, is that a way for someone who's new to this or wants to learn it? Is it available?
I would love to move in that direction. I've not done it specifically, but I have done a few, quick question answer, what am I doing wrong kinds of things. But I would love to do that. I do have the space that I'm in right now is actually my classroom, and then I have a separate room that's my studio. But I also have to get a little more equipment because sharing it with my husband, who's a teacher, and teaching 6 days a week, that's a little bit difficult.
Where's he teaching? Is he still teaching at a Southern California school?
Yeah, he teaches at the web schools in Claremont.
Oh, okay.
And they're all online right now.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly, hopefully, we'll be able to move eventually. By the end of the school year, they'll have students back, but right now it's all online. But yes, I would love to do that. I love to teach, especially beginners. And I love playing around and experimenting and figuring things out and what am I doing wrong kind of questions. I love that.
Oh, and I want to let me do this. Your website is woolywalkers.com.
Yep.
And I know I was on your website and I noticed that you have tools and kits and different things available. And now and how Judy met you was you were a vendor at Stitches West. And that was when we did you're doing a make and take of this type of thing that's like it's a coaster.
It's a mug rug.
A mug rug, a coaster, and also it can be worn as a pin because of this wonderful magnet.
Yep.
But as I was saying, I don't put my cups on it because I'm afraid I would knock them over. But I always have a drink with me in my studio, And with all of the fiber that I have, like if I'm winding yarn or doing whatever, there's always fiber in the air. I always cover it. So this is now the cover, my tea cover, because
That's
I use the
awesome.
magnet to put it to attach it to a plastic lid.
I love that. I'm going to have to package that, Julie.
Oh yeah, and this is it.
That's a clever idea.
It's great.
You know, because you know how I'm into reusing plastic, so I have a ton of these lids hanging around, and so there you go. That's my thing. And
Julie, what did you put behind the punch work that's that the magnet it sticks, you know, is attracted to?
It's just a piece of felt, and then it's a 2-piece magnet.
it didn't we? I mean, we got this in the
that's right. Yeah.
Because we walked around the first day wearing them as brooches. Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. So, and you know, when I saw you, God, a few months ago, Lambtown Festival, you weren't teaching, you were a vendor there. Oh, yay. Which used to be an in-person festival in Northern California, right?
Oh, yeah. And it still will be. They were just trying, like everybody else, to keep their vendors invisible. And they had some really great classes. They had 3 or 4. Judith McKenzie. Boy, I can't even think right now who they were. And it was kind of neat because they created an app for Lambtown.
Yeah, that worked pretty well. I've been a little bit sampling the virtual festivals.
Have you?
And and I was just telling you that Stitches Events is going to keep doing virtual events going forward. And they said they'll still do in-person conventions, but they really are in love with the virtual format. And they're going to keep doing that.
Yeah. There's no upfront money, you know, it makes it a little easier. Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, just the amount of labor. I mean, the amount of labor to put on that size show is enormous. But it's also like they were talking to people who were able to go to Stitches at home. There was one woman who said that she had to stop going to in-person convention events because of health reasons. Sure. She couldn't travel like that anymore. She couldn't do all that walking. And now she was able to, you know, do a fiber event again, and she had missed it. And there are people who have young kids. The travel is difficult. The travel is expensive, you know, for the attendees. I just hope that Stitches West comes back because that's the thing I love. I want the travel.
I miss that in-person, tangible, you know, aspect of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I took the one class at Lambtown, and my disappointment was that I didn't see anybody else in the class. You know, it was this type of format where it was just the instructor, just the introducer, and there was no interaction except for typing some stuff in. And I don't know, it just felt very impersonal.
Stitches is using Zoom, where they highlight the instructor.
Sure.
But all of the people in the class are in the little tiles up
That's
top
nice.
or down the side, and there is interaction. You all can talk in the class. And when somebody asks a question, it's like this, in this format, not typing into the chat. I did one where everything was typing into the chat, and it reminded me of the chat rooms of the 90s. Which are not always good memories, you know.
No.
Like, oh no, I don't want to go back to this. No. But you know, it's the way things have been evolving this year is it's all very interesting, and it's continuing to be interesting.
So yes, I would love to teach.
want to, for those again who are new and and needle a punch needle is perhaps not as well known as knitting or crochet. Do you want to show your some tools, and or maybe you want a demo?
Absolutely. I'm just going to move my screen down a little. So this is the punch needle here.
I'm gonna highlight you.
See it okay?
Yeah, where's my thing? There we go.
So there's the punch needle. And it's sized. I'm trying to find a good spot here.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
The height of the needle and the width of the needle. So there are two widths of needles. This is the regular point, and this is the fine point. And the fine point, these two are both 10, so they'll make the same height loops. But this one uses a single strand of worsted weight, and the regular I use 2 strands of worsted weight, and you can use up to basically a bulky. So I'm just grabbing some lovely heirloom Romney worsted weight yarn.
And you could use knitting yarn for this. You can use any yarn. Is there?
Absolutely. I'll show you samples of using everything.
Good.
My rule is that if it fits in the needle, it's fair game. If you're making an heirloom rug, you might want to stick with wool, but really there's no reason why you can't use anything. The one, I keep forgetting that it's backwards. The one behind me, I'll show you what I used for that. You would like it, Julie. It is repurposed manufacturing waste.
Yay.
Yes.
I love your color palette.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Through the hole in the eye of the needle, and then you just put it in the back end of the needle, and as you pull it, it just threads itself through, and that's threading the needle. One main difference between punch needle and rug hooking is punch needle, we work from the back and we punch the loops to the front, where rug hookers work from the front and pull their loops up to the height that they want. Whereas the punch needle, it is the height, the length of the needle regulates your loop. So there's the learning curve is pretty low. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah. It's really fun. It's really fun. I mean, I love you're one of the few booths at a convention.
Oh, did I just lose you?
Learn a whole new technique and walk away with something. So
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So what I primarily punch on is monk's cloth. It's a even weave cotton fabric, 2 strands over 2 strands. You're not going to find it at a store. Unfortunately, a lot of people try the monk's cloth at the big box stores, and it is made for embroidery and Swedish huck weaving, and it's 4 strands over 4 strands. So it's much bigger and looser, and it doesn't hold the yarn in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see if I can do this gracefully. I'm going to just pull this tail so it's sticking out on the front. And then the punching action is I'm always going in the direction of the slot. So I'm going to just go forward. You're going to lift up slowly, drag it over about 2 spaces, and plunge it all the way back down to the wood.
And by 2 spaces, that's about 2 threads in the cloth, right?
It'll be over 4 threads if it's
Okay.
2 over 2. Yeah.
Okay.
The holes are pretty easy to see. And that spacing, that stitch gauge is for a single line. That way all the loops are touching each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how easily you can see that. But there are the loops.
Uh-huh.
So for a single line, for outlining something before you fill it in, again, it sort of defines it really well.
Yeah.
The 2 outer rows of a project like a rug, that's going to wear a little bit better if the stitches are closer together. And then for filling in, say I made a circle and I wanted to just fill it in, it would be 4 stitches to the inch, which is every 3rd hole. And
raise the work up a little bit. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah. And I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see how they're a little bit more spaced apart.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
last part. But what happens is when you go back to do the next row, you're going to basically just go in between those stitches,
Mm.
and it will fill it in, sort of like brick stitching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fast and it fills in.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's it. You've just taught the whole technique.
Yeah.
After that, it's up to the person to they'll do whatever design. Yeah.
So to finish this color, I will just pull a loop from the front. I mean, there are other ways to finish it off, but I'm lazy and I don't want to have to poke in all my tails. So I do that. So the piece behind me, what I have gotten is actually organic cotton jersey from this company. It's a waste.
Uh-huh.
I get remnants and I dye them. And then I cut them into strips, just like t-shirt yarn.
Yes, and
So it ends up looking like that.
Yes. Oh, it's fabulous. Yes.
And then, so the only other difference in that is that I'm using a slightly different stitch technique where I turn, it won't show up really well, but I turn my needle. So instead of punching with the slot going forward, I punch it so that it's at a, what is that, 45, 90? Turn it sideways, and I punch sideways. And that's called the stem stitch. And what that does, I don't know if you can really see the difference, but it lines all of the loops up.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of going sort of higgledy-piggledy, they're all sort of straight in a line.
And that works better when you're using the fabric as yarn.
No, it's just really a different technique. Say I really want the stem on a flower. I mean, that's where the name ended up coming from. And you want it to be perfectly straight. You can do the stem stitch and have them line up. Here is a little hot pad I did. And you can kind of see on the edge there how they're lined up.
Yeah, and that's just fabric?
That is fabric, yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love
I've
it.
had fun playing with that. And as far as other things you can use, I have a sampler here. So this is all traditional wool strips. So it's cut pieces of wool, just like you would use if you were hooking a rug,
Yeah.
but done with the needle, and the two different sizes. And then as far as playing with other things, we have, and I angle it down a little bit more. This here is pencil roving.
Oh,
All right.
boy, that's
This-
certainly available at a show like Stitches. You know,
yeah.
booths.
You have all those odd yarns, but they're not big enough to fit in the needle. Put a bunch of them together. This is
Jeez,
about
genius.
4 strands of different yarns put together in the one needle. This is that Bernat chenille baby yarn
Yeah.
stuff, that giant stuff.
Yes.
And this one is sari silk. You know, I find that you have to cut the seams out of the sari silk, and sometimes you have to split it because sometimes it's just so big.
Yep. Yeah, I've been using some on a project,
mhm.
and yeah, it's got a lot of quirks, but
Yeah, it's kind of fun though.
that's, I don't know what. Yes, it's just
You want to come?
Yeah.
So on this one here,
Oops.
this one. Hey Judy, what's this
Hi,
one?
Judy.
I'm like all intense here, you know.
This one is tulle ribbon. It's like, I don't know, I think it was 2 inches wide.
Oh.
And this is just a craft ribbon.
Oh God, you can just buy spools of that at the big box stores.
Yeah. And then this one, I wanted a little glitz and glam. So there's just a gold thread
Yeah.
that I put through it.
Yeah.
This is a manufactured t-shirt type yarn, but with the smaller needle. And then this was some of my mom's novelty yarn. You know, so if you're doing a wall hanging and you want to mix a bunch of stuff and get different different textures and all that kind of stuff, the sky's the limit.
You're not kidding.
Yeah. People,
I had
it's
no
funny.
idea, Una. This is
Yeah.
like eye-opening.
Good.
Eye-opening.
One last one here. This is with, you know, we all used this yarn, didn't we, when we were learning how to make scarves and stuff like that?
Yeah, some of us still have a bag of that in our stash somewhere.
Yeah, we do. This one's, it's a little finicky because it's slippery. You know, this one's got like the rayon-y sort of stuff. So it takes a little bit of practice to do that one. This one is a cotton yarn, and I used 2 strands of that in the fine needle. And then this one I really love. This I got as a sample from somebody. It's like a flannel.
Oh.
Super soft flannel-y kind of thing. And again, in the fine needle.
So nice. What that's really a nice sample demo book.
Hey, it's what us advanced teachers have to do for our certification.
That's why you're certified.
Then the other thing, one sample here, you've probably seen this at the show. I like this. I don't know if it really shows up, but the background on this is shorter than the design.
Huh.
See if I can get an angle on it.
There's a relief. You have a relief.
Yeah. So the pattern I did with the number 9 regular, and the background I did with the 13 fine. And here you can see on the back, see all the black, how it's in lines and rows?
Yeah.
Right.
Because the fine needles, you work at every hole and every other row. And that's a good example of what that looks like.
Oh, that's why you can kind of see the spaces of the yarn in between the black.
Yeah.
You don't see that on the front, though.
No,
That you don't see the space in the front.
no.
As the loop fills it in.
Yeah.
And is it the size of the needle that determines that the back is lower, the background is lower relief than the positive parts of the
Yes.
image?
Yeah, the 13 needle makes a 3/16 inch high loop,
Oh,
and the number 9 makes a 3/8 inch high loop. So there's not
So
a huge
it's not
difference.
so cool.
so it's not so much the diameter of the needle, it's the length of the needle.
Oh, I just
Whoops.
lost my earbud.
Oh.
Yes, it is the length of the needle. Let me just see how far it traveled. Oh, not bad.
It's almost as bad as dropping an earring.
And they're my husband's too, so we won't do that. Yeah, so you can combine all the different heights. I didn't grab that sample. I have a great sample next time you're in the booth.
Oh,
that uses all the, I have all the different heights in one piece.
oh yeah.
Kind of fun. And then advanced mug rug work. Now this is another brooch. This one I did using the 14 needle.
Oh.
And it's got a really fun button. My friend Jody McDougall, who is a glass button maker,
Oh.
does some amazing buttons. She
Mhm.
does a lot of Millefiori work. She just did a Ruth Bader Ginsburg button that's amazing.
Oh.
But I thought that was kind of fun. I love antique buttons and,
Yeah.
working those in. And
Oh, that's spectacular.
It is. It's beautiful. And you know, last week or a couple weeks ago, you were showing a little pouch that was like that piece that's behind you, design wise. It was a zipper pouch, like the size of a notion bag. Yeah.
Yes. That I wove.
Oh, I thought it was punch needle.
That one I just did a cardboard weaving.
Oh, that's
I've been doing a lot of other stuff, Julie. I've been doing a lot of fun stuff. I've been doing, as I finished this t-shirt, I did some eco printing.
Okay, so tell us about eco printing.
Eco printing is printing with leaves, basically. And it's how you mordant the fabric and you steam it or boil it with the leaves all rolled into it. And the different leaves produce different colors.
Oh.
So you come up with this fun fabric.
Well, hold on. Hold it up. Let me spotlight you. Oh, so the colors come from the natural properties of the various leaves. Oh.
Yeah, you see the leaves?
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. A friend of mine, Janice Thompson from Eugene, just wrote a great book on eco printing. So I had to try it. And this is, again, waste fabric from that same company.
Love it. Janice
Yeah.
Thompson? I'm going to make
Janice Thompson, yeah. Not sure where my book is right now. It might be down in my dye studio.
I'll look her up so that I can put a link to her in the show notes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but also let's get a link to the button maker.
Sure. It's Jody McDougall Studios.
Jody. Would that be Jodi? Jody?
I think it's IE, yeah.
McDougall.
Yes.
Yeah, so everybody can watch me making notes on my iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, she does some beautiful work. Really fun. She does simple buttons, but then she does some really fun, elaborate buttons. And another one of my show buddies, that I missed terribly.
Oh, I'll bet. Well, yeah, and at Stitches West, there are several vendors. Some have antique buttons, glass buttons, handmade buttons. That's one of the things I miss.
Yeah.
That's the in-person stuff.
Sheila Ernst, Ernst Glass. They're another. They make beautiful buttons as well as glass knitting needles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen them, and the crochet hooks as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, I do. The camaraderie of the shows is what I
Oh, I know.
really miss.
Yeah. And so that also, what other fiber arts have you done? And artwork in your background?
So, having grown up in a craft supply store in the 70s.
You must have done absolutely everything.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's my macrame plant hanger made out of the same yarn.
I guess. I love your yarn wall behind you there too.
That's how I sort for kits, but it's a handy little thing. Yeah, so I was doing macrame in the 70s, and because I was in high school in the 70s, and my mother made me teach. So
you taught in the store?
Yeah. And I've dabbled, I've taken a lot of basketry classes, weaving classes. I do spin, not proficiently, but I know enough to get into trouble. I do a lot of decorative painting. I was a professional stenciler in the early 80s. I did people's homes and walls and dentist offices and stuff. And
nice.
That was one of the first projects I did here. I brought this old ugly dresser with me, and I painted it and stenciled it. It's really cool. What? You want to see it?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. We can travel, I think.
Okay.
Oh, if we're traveling, do you have your fabulous the footstool with the berry basket?
Oh, downstairs.
Oh, okay. It's on your website, right?
So this is kind of my classroom so far.
Oh gosh, that's a great space.
It is a good space.
Have you been able to have in-person classes there? Because
no,
here we would not be able to. Oh, okay.
Into the hallway here, into the bedroom. I don't think there's any dirty clothes on the floor. This is my bureau.
Wow.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me spotlight it so that we can get a bit. Oh my gosh.
Oh no, that's outstanding.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. And then every drawer, let's see if I can find a clean one. I put dollhouse wallpaper because my parents also had dollhouse supplies, and guess who has a big box of dollhouse wallpaper?
Wow,
that's great. Okay, so
I'm traveling to my studio so you can see the mess in here.
Oh, good. Please.
Yeah, everyone has a messy studio.
And everybody wants to see other people's mess in their studios, right? It alleviates our guilt.
I have a lovely view up into the mountains.
Oh, there is actual snow there.
Yes. Not totally organized yet, but it's nice because I can keep my sewing machines out.
Yeah.
I sew a lot. I do quilting.
So that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, right. I'm waiting for a proper desk to be built, but for now,
I'm on one of those folding tables right now. So
yeah,
I've got one right behind me.
So then stuff. We have lots of stuff, paint, and I do some airbrushing. Everyone has to have a boomerang in their house, right?
Somehow we managed to come back from Australia without buying one of those last year. I don't know.
Made that for me. So, all right. Traveling back. That was fun.
All right.
Yeah, because of being in the store, I got to do all sorts of things, from stained glass to silver jewelry making, decorative painting, stenciling,
Mm-hmm.
macrame. My mother, I know how to knit, but I am totally a visual person, and reading instructions and following them is, yeah, we all have our limits, right?
Yep, exactly.
I know how to crochet. I've done some tatting. I've done some smocking. I grew up sewing. My mom was a 4-H teacher when I was like in second grade, first grade. So those are handy things to know how to do. And I don't know if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see my video on making a pair of shoes.
Oh, that's right. I remember when
Right?
you first came into designing weavers.
Yeah.
The shoes, which is why your name is Woolly Walkers. You were making shoes. I had forgotten
So
that.
I went to shoe school when I first moved to California, up in Washington, and learned how to make a lasted pair of shoes. And then I started making the felt and turning the felt into shoes, and
You're amazing.
I know, just jack of all trades.
It's like there's nothing you can't do.
I've done some leather work. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, that was that craft, that whole craft culture from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it well.
The Firefox books, the Mother's News, all that good stuff.
And the craft stores. I mean, those were my favorite stores, and I did macrame and all kinds of
beading. I've done a lot of beading, a lot of Fimo work, all that.
God.
But it all comes down to that, necessity being, the mother of invention, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you really saw on my bureau my handles.
I sort of noticed them. What are they?
It was hard to see. Of course, it's an older bureau, and the spacing for the old brass, fancy things couldn't find them. So I had just been gifted by my daughter through her friend a big box of leather.
So those were leather.
I made leather handles, and they're simple, looped on and Chicago screws, which are a type of rivet that screws together. So it's it's kind of nice knowing all this stuff, that if I come up against, how do I put this handle in this pocketbook? I can.
Let's get a good look at this pocketbook. Oh, I love this. I love this piece.
Yeah, thanks. So this is the punched front, and then the sides are all my handmade felt.
Oh.
So, and then it's got this nice stay open handle. But, just trying to figure out, how do I turn something into something else?
Yep.
And I love that. I love that part of the whole process of everything.
Yeah. I mean, everything you learn goes into informs what you do and how you design, and it's all great.
And our big motto here is every mistake is a chance to learn. So it doesn't matter if it's a complete failure, you figured out why it was a failure.
Right. Exactly. It's all of that knowledge is useful. And sometimes a failure is just a new learning a new way to do something. So
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
once in a while, yeah. So gosh, it's so nice to see you.
Yeah, you too.
So nice to see you, and maybe next year in Sacramento.
Yeah, that would be
So
great.
it would be great.
And then still talking about the Torrance show.
The Southern California Hand Weavers, the Weaving and
Yeah.
Fiber Festival, are they
Yeah.
for May?
May. I've been asked if I would be outside if that was a possibility. I haven't heard definitively back yet, but they're playing around with doing it all in the courtyards.
Well, the courtyard is big, and generally we have good enough weather as long as it's not windy. There can be tents. Well, you know what? I'm going to sign up for your newsletter, as everybody should, which is available on your website. And
maybe I'll start doing now.
wait a minute, is it a good idea to sign up for your website?
Follow me on Facebook and Instagram is probably a better bet.
Okay.
But it might give me impetus to actually do something with that newsletter, Julie.
Okay, well, hold on. I want to give the best information. I mean, I do love this. Hold on. Because I love this piece that's in your cover photo. We talked about that a second ago.
Yeah.
I mean, with your big button over it, but I mean that's just a beautiful piece.
I might be able to.
I'll take it away. And I assume that your handle is Woolly Walkers everywhere.
Yes,
it's Woolly Walkers in every place. It's not Woolly Walkers everywhere. It's everywhere that you have a handle, it's Woolly Walkers.
Yes.
Bring up Una's website again, just so people get to see, tease them about what they can look at on her website. So if somebody wants to get tools or something, what does she have there?
Well,
let's see.
We have.
Okay, so there's. I just love, and I love the color palette of this so much. Beautiful. Okay, so let's subscribe. Well, let's just say go to social media, and here's your announcement. I assume this has to do with moving, or something else happened.
Yes, I was without my stock for several months. It was a little frustrating. Because we moved mid-March with just what we could fit in my big van.
Yeah.
And then we did not return to LA to pick up more stuff until June.
Oh. Wow. Yeah.
I did myself.
Do you want to say anything about? Do you want to say anything about these real quick?
So basically, it will have all of the punches on there. You'll see kits, patterns, all sorts of. These are kits on linen, so that the whole background is just linen.
And you don't have to fill it in. Oh, nice.
And the pattern is on the back of the linen, and it's all pre-stretched on stretcher strips.
Nice.
So all you need is the kit and a punch.
These are beautiful.
Thank you.
They really are.
Thanks. Julie, I just texted you a picture, I hope, of that big piece.
Oh, my. Well,
did I get you the right? Okay, I wasn't sure if I had you in my contacts.
Yeah. I just don't know how to get it from my.
Okay.
I mean, it'll take several steps.
That's okay.
Several steps for me to be able to get it into StreamYard.
But Una, I'm just going to touch back on the kits again, because you mentioned that they come. So is the fabric already, you said, on a stretcher? So
the linen ones
The linen
Or-
ones. Okay.
Yeah.
These.
Because for someone
Let's see
that
how-
wants to either learn or
Mhm.
or gift it for someone that might be new, that's probably a good way to start.
It is great because you don't need a hoop or a stretcher bar, stretcher frame. I didn't really talk about that. You want to have the monk's cloth as tight as humanly possible.
That's
And
right. I
regular
remember that.
embroidery hoops will not work. I would love to say
Oh.
they do. Yeah. So what we recommend is either what I was working on here, which is a stretcher. It's called a gripper strip. You
Hmm.
see all those little teeth on there?
Yeah.
And you can just stretch the fabric over and it holds it really drum tight. The other option is these are non-slip hoops. They have a tongue and groove.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
In there.
Oh.
wow.
They're made for quilting. So these you're more likely to find. I mean, I have 12-inch in stock and 5-inch in stock right now, and a lap stand, I think. But they're made for quilting, so they're made to hold a lot of fabric. They're a little tricky when you want to move from space to space, getting all of that into the hoop and getting it tight. But it is a great way to start. I used the lap stand for 8 years.
Mm.
I did just fine. But just know that it's a little tough to get your piece back into the hoop after you've punched it. So.
Well,
You're right.
I just I'm a big fan of your linen kits. I think what a great way to start.
Oh, thanks, Judy. Yeah.
Really.
Oh, and as long as we're still all in isolation, that would be
Yeah.
a great thing for a person to do to
Mhm.
hold out these last few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try something new. I think so
And I
many
do
of us.
have, other beginner kits with the monk's cloth. I have mug rug and trivet kits.
And they're
each
online
needle-
as well.
Yeah, and each needle comes with a little booklet that I wrote that actually has a pattern for a trivet on the back of it. I know.
So it's so great. I didn't even
I
know
love
all of
I
this.
have to tell you, I'm really eyeing that owl. How would I know? How would I know what size needle to purchase with
It
that
is
owl?
written in the description, I believe, but it's just a number 10 regular.
Okay.
And that features my handy stenciling.
And the wool that I would use for that.
Is all in it.
Oh, it comes with it. It's not
the linen one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on that one, a few of the leaves and the branch are stenciled onto the front. And then the design is drawn on the back. And it's basically
Oh my God.
the owl and some of the leaves. Yeah.
They're wonderful. Absolutely
Thank you,
wonderful.
Judy.
Yes.
They're terrific.
Yes.
Super good.
All right.
Or two. Wow. All right. I have to go looking.
Peruse.
That's the word. I have to go peruse.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right. This was great.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Well,
Fun getting to know somebody in a different way, isn't it?
Even after, I've known you for a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Well,
happily.
It's hard when the meetings took so long and we only had dinner to converse. And
Yeah.
somebody was at the other end of the table. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And even with all of that I miss. The going to dinner was one of the things I loved.
Yeah.
Because well, because when I joined, my kids were barely old enough for me to leave them alone in the evening until their dad got home, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
And so that also meant that it just because we also met in Larchmont Village in LA at the time, or that's where we ate.
Yeah.
But to get out of the San Fernando Valley on an evening without my children and be with other fiber artists, it was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, I really loved the dinners and the meetings, and you know,
We'll have to have at least a virtual dinner. Maybe we can get some of those people together. That'd be kind of fun.
you know what?
That would be a good idea.
That would be a great idea.
Great idea.
Yes.
I know that there is a group from the Greater Los Angeles Spinning Guild.
Mm-hmm.
When I first was in that guild, so we're talking 14, 15 years ago, there is a group that now meets every weekend on Zoom for hours.
Oh.
And some of them are in LA. I have like 4 of them are now in Eugene. We have somebody in Arizona that used to be in LA. And it's just so fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great to have a fiber art group of people along the lines of the kind of people that were in Designing Weavers.
Yeah.
That would be fun. That would be something somebody who's good at organizing things could organize.
I wonder who could that be, Julie?
We'll have to see if we can find somebody.
Somebody.
Could be a stretch of
No,
our
it's not me, Judy. So.
You know, we'll have to see, because we're not going to be meeting in person anytime soon.
Yeah.
But this is also great because now even Oregon is around LA, and we're going to have somebody next month. We're going to be talking to somebody from the East Coast. So,
awesome.
Yes.
Everything is around LA now. So,
yep.
Everybody is within our world.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And we want to thank you for being part of our world today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you so much. This was fun.
It was such a pleasure, getting to meet you in a more in-depth way. And I love that you were so open to share your home with us and your work and all your skills and,
your dresser. We would never have seen your dresser in your stitches.
No.
Yeah.
So, and I've yet to post that. I have to get some good pictures of it. I will post it to Instagram.
Please do, because it's just stunning.
Thank you.
It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And
it's stunning.
Almost time to say goodbye.
Yes.
And next week, we'll be back at 1:00 on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be with our friend Amy Bauer, talking about Fun-A-Day and other things. So we could say goodbye now.
Please tune in next week.
Yep. And look up Una on social media. And until we can see each other in person, or back online.
Yeah, we'll still keep knitting around.
So, okay. So goodbye to everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks again. Until next time.
We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.